Trials, the World Health Organization's largest vaccine trials yet. Senior international correspondent Nick Robertson has an exclusive look and talks with one of the volunteers.
Long awaited, finally here. An Ebola vaccine arrives deep underground beneath a Swiss hospital. The potential cure for the deadly virus stored way below freezing. This tiny pouch containing the core of the World Health Organization's, WHO's, largest clinical trial on humans to date. Upstairs, one of the 120 volunteers to test the vaccine prepares for the trial.
I feel very safe about this. A lot of people told me, but there are so many risks. Don't you feel like you could get sick because of the vaccine? But this is not how I feel. And there are a lot of people who could benefit from it.
First, a blood sample taken to make sure she is in good health. Trial confidentiality means we can't reveal the volunteer's name, but we can show her on TV, and she can talk about the experience, checking for fever and rashes and blood tests.
I'm not afraid of blood tests or anything like that, being a med school student. I think the hard part to me is not knowing whether I'm getting the vaccine or a placebo.
Her blood rushed through this 1,400-bed hospital to a state-of-the-art lab. Over the next few months, thousands of volunteer samples will pass through here. Tests in this phase 1 trial made for safety of the vaccine and dosage.
We are measuring antibodies and asking the question, does this protein that we inject elicit an immunological reaction?
Doctors here hope to have the first results as early as December this year. Their biggest surprise so far, way more volunteers than they needed.
It shows first the commitment of the students here, but also the population for clinical research, and also a sense of urgency, but also a sense of we can do something for Africa.
If these trials are successful, the WHO plans to quickly scale up and test vaccines on thousands of people in Sierra Leone and Liberia as early as January next year. If those tests are successful, they could begin a wide-scale vaccination campaign as early as next April. Nick Robertson, CNN, Lausanne, Switzerland.
To better understand the process of testing and how effective a new vaccine might be, we turn to Dr. William Schaffner in Nashville, Tennessee. He's an infectious disease expert at Vanderbilt University. Thanks so much for being with us once again, Doctor. Let me ask you about these trials. In the global campaign against Ebola, are they going to end up, do you think, being the centerpiece if they can come up with a vaccine, or is this a secondary effort to just fighting the disease patient by patient?
Well, Jonathan, you know, vaccines are designed to prevent Ebola, and so we need to study to see whether they're effective, will they work in preventing this infection, and are they safe? But if they were to be effective and safe, that would be wonderful. They would be given first to healthcare workers to protect them from Ebola, and then public health people, security people, and then a larger vaccination campaign, if we could make enough of this vaccine, to the population itself. And that would help curb this epidemic and prevent those coming in the future.
Now, given experts' experience with Ebola and with the business of developing new vaccines, what are the odds that this is going to work this time?
Well, all my fingers and toes are crossed. We need some good news, and a preventive vaccine that works would be just wonderful. In the meantime, we have to do work on the ground, as we're doing, to treat the patients and do the rigorous public health work in order to control this epidemic. But if we had the help of a vaccine, it would go faster.
Now, I'm reading from experts that there are 5 different species of Ebola and several strains within at least some of those species. How much does that complicate trying to find a vaccine?
Well, in this instance, the vaccine is designed to prevent Ebola caused by this strain called the Zaire strain. And so there ought to be, we hope, a good match between what's in the vaccine and the virus that's causing this illness. So it's optimally designed to work to prevent infection with this strain.
still complicated business at best. They're hoping, if they're very lucky, they'll have something they can test widespread in January and then rush into production as early as April. A lot of people are going to die between now and April.
Yes, well, that's why all the other work has to go on to find the patients, provide the better treatment that we can. Your piece talked about building more treatment facilities and getting people in there trained to actually treat these patients, and then to do the public health work to find all the contacts. That's got to go on. It sure would help to have a vaccine. We don't know whether this one works, but it would be wonderful if it did.
You've been generous with your time and expertise once again. William Schaffner of Vanderbilt University. Thanks so much.
Thanks, John.